Good evening and welcome to Magic from the Ashes. This scene we find ourselves in takes place in the afternoon, evening, somewhere thereabouts, in the common area of the Chantry. Well, for the moment, somewhat collected Julie is sitting, meditating. She has earphones on. She's clearly listening to something, some music or perhaps mantra or something to that effect. Her head is, she's just slowly, like, not turning her head, but just like her head is just like rotating or ever so shortly and slightly around, and she just sits there and seems to be relaxing.
A woman comes in to the common room from work. She's dressed in kind of her business suit. And she basically walks in. There's Nausicaa. She stifles a yawn. And she sees Julie meditating. So she will go to her room, put her back down and all that jazz. And then she'll go down to Lee, get some food, and she'll bring her food up into the common room as well. And start eating. And a member of the Unicorn Clan charges in at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. I think it's Cat that's the only blood speaker, though. But and Nausicaa will just... Julie can probably just hear Nausicaa eating her food. And she actually... she kind of has like a tablet, and she'll be clearly like looking at something on the tablet. But she more or less just, if Julie's meditating, she won't interrupt her. Do we have a Theo?
Yes. I don't really have a context on this fucking scene outside of you having a tablet.
We are literally just started, and we're in the common room. That's literally...
Yeah, and I'm not talking because Julie at the moment is meditating.
Yeah.
Quite clearly, so she's not gonna...
And Nausicaa's just having some food and, doing some things on the internet.
And I guess Theo's gonna enter the room and say, "Ladies," and he's just gonna sit.
Nausicaa will look over. Theo, how has your day been?
Mostly okay. I've been trying one or two new things. I will need to see if it comes to fruition or not. Mainly my point being trying to find Euphanator. Because it would seem that they would be really useful considering the number of dead people we seems to encounter those days.
Nausicaa just shrugs. Has Grace spoken to you?
No.
She is currently in the process, and in fact, she says this kind of loudly so that Julie can hear and join in if she wants, of attempting to buy a large quantity of illegal drugs.
he, he scratched the side of his face. Oh boy. Why?
There is a member of the Zeta Clinic we wish to frame.
Oh. Um. So you're gonna do the drug. You're gonna drug it.
I believe so. Planning a large quantity of Class A drugs is a severe penalty in the state of New York.
Mm, true.
It'll just be a Julie's direction. She kind of takes off her earphones and just says, "It's not that hard. It'll be done."
We would require something along the lines of heroin or cocaine. Something that will lead him to a severe penalty in the light of his being a previous felon. Something the technocracy will not be able to sweep under the table easily.
You that problem? She just looks a little. She doesn't look concerned, but you just look at Theo and just. That's not a problem, right?
Well, if you're asking my opinion regarding drugging someone, I'm going to say first that I hope that you know what you're doing.
We are not drugging him. We are planning the drugs on his person.
Okay, because I remember a previous conversation about him having to spill the bean and that, well, perhaps
You're
not drugging
confused.
him, but at least,
This is a different person.
okay. I just wanted to make sure, because
That's right.
okay, so, yes, plant, you can plant those. Um, I, mm, yeah, if he has them, then and he has a previous record, then that that could indeed that could indeed lead to something. Uh, I would advise, obviously, if you intend to drop it um, at his place, um, don't leave any fingerprints.
We're going to plan it on his vehicle.
Well, yes, but as I'm saying, when you deposit the package, don't leave fingerprints on it.
We will not. Thank you.
Of course not. Like, I mean, of course, if you have insights into like how this would work best, we're all open for ideas or suggestions. But I think we can do this.
Uh, what's you don't have access to his file.
His police file?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Although I could likely get it.
I might be able, perhaps, like, as he thinks, oh, you mean by hacking through?
Yeah. Or other means. I mean, we do.
I can ask my partner to
No need.
give me an insight on the file, but if you think you can bypass uh, the police firewalls and all, then by all means, go for it.
I believe I could. However, if your partner is able to do it, then that would seem easier.
If you guys really want to frame it, um, outside of outside of drugs, um, I would suggest that you guys look into his file when we get it and try to frame it for the same thing, because generally judges tends to go a little bit further if a crime is the same and it's basically a relapse.
That would be difficult. The crime he was previously committed was attacking and attempted murder on Grace. Who was his fiancée at the time.
Which is why he needs to go away.
Exactly.
Okay. Um, I have a question because I'm extremely confused. I thought her ex was a technocratic contact, which we needed him to make a confession. Or are they two different peoples?
No. There are two different people. I will explain.
Okay.
Grace's
Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Grace's ex-husband, fiance, boyfriend attacked her, tried to kill her. This is why she has some scars on her body. He's a very violent, evil man. He ran into her downstairs from here. Although she left and did not imply that this place was where she lived. This was very suspicious. We looked into him, and we found that he was an employee of the Zeta Clinic, i.e. the technocracy. He needs to go. We have investigated him. He is currently in a relationship with another woman. This woman is likely an ex-member of the Euthanatoi tradition. This complicates the situation. We believe that she was maybe like us at one point, a tradition mage that was captured by the technocracy and brainwashed. However, the easiest solution we need, because the technocracy are likely using Luca against Grace, is for him to go back to prison.
Thing we haven't considered. Technocracy have pull pretty much everywhere. They might be able to get him out of prison quite easily if they want him to bother Grace.
They may, but the technocracy ultimately have to work through legal precedent. He simply may not be worth their resources. And if he is caught red-handed by police officers, there is only, with a large amount of drugs, there is only so far the technocracy's influence can take them without it being overexposing what they're doing. This is my analysis of it, at least. The other person, Damien, that we were talking about is an operative for what are they called? Iron Man Solutions, an awakened technocratic operative who is likely the person who killed Kat's cousin. Also, I believe, in an attempt for her to raise her head. He is the one that we need to capture, gain information about Iron Man Solutions with, and then ultimately force a confession out of to take them down and expose them publicly.
Okay. So, I'm gonna be straight on this one. Planting drugs might not be enough. Because
What would you suggest?
the thing is that as you say, and let's take the worst scenario. You put the drug there, except that the technocracy really knows that Grace is one of us, and this person is a way to get to her. So there might there might be um, a bailout if they pay. If they pay it, he might be out. Will still go to the judge and everything, but he will still be out. Also, one of the other problem is that he wouldn't have consumed the drug, and obviously he is going to deny it. He's going to deny it, and if they have a uh, good enough lawyer, and they have quote unquote proof that somehow he is clean and everything, this is going this could not necessarily go in the way that we want. I would personally advise, if you really want to go, if you really want to go far enough to have enough evidence, I would suggest, even if I can't believe that I'm saying this, um, he should have drug in his blood system.
The idea was not that he was taking the drugs; it was that he was dealing them. It is a much harsher sentence.
True, true, but then again, if he's just in possession of them, what proof do you have that he's selling them? You're gonna need to implant evidence through his files, like if he has files or if he has
Possession
or
in the
something.
state of possession of that quantity of drugs in the state of New York carries a decades-long sentence. This was the idea.
Yes. But if you want to sell that story, I would say try and add as much evidence as you can. Simply putting the drug there.
Maybe an illegal firearm, additionally. This implies that he is some kind of dangerous drug dealer.
An illegal firearm could indeed be there. If you even want to go further, you can do what one of one of the crooks at our station did once, which was fire uh, fire with your gun at some point somewhere, uh, and leave it with the gloves and leave it with gloves which have evidence of black powder being used, which is going to add that this was a firearm used in certain situation. And I would say, how good are you at hacking a phone? Like, hypothetically, how hard would it be?
I could do it. If it is not encrypted, it is relatively easy. Why?
He has a history of abuse. If you have also, I'm sure Grace must have a restricting order on this guy, or at least something.
I'm not sure about that, actually. But it would make sense, I agree.
It would make sense if she had, even if she hasn't. The fact that he would have pictures, even pictures in his car, like through Argentic, if we want to go classic or anything, but proves that he's not only been dealing drugs, not only does he have a gun, but considering his past, he has recent pictures of his ex that he has taken, which would tend to imply that he's still obsessed and might actually, commit a crime against her.
But potentially, however, I would not like to involve Grace in this directly. If she is called into court to testify with that, or called in for questioning, then we're massively exposing her. But your idea of using a gun to commit a crime and then planning that on him, they're able to trace the shells, aren't they?
And yeah, and um, actually, Julie, um, you're good with life, aren't you?
Uh, oh, right. Spear.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
How hard would it be to take his face?
Um,
I have no idea how exactly the life sphere work, but
it's that would be hard
hmm,
because it's not just a face; it's also the body for
hmm.
it to be convincing.
I mean, the body is a thing, but then again, if you have layers above, we're mostly going to focus on the face mostly. But I was thinking that if he's either seeing, you know, um, buying the gun or seeing shooting with it or something, that would add some layers. But this would complicate the plan. But ultimately, I think those two elements could be very useful to plant an illegal weapon, and drugs would indeed do quite the trick. The other parts are really bonuses at this point. Plus, if I can get my partner to be, by chance, of course, you know, uh, getting tipped that, there is a suspect that has been seeing dealing, dealing drugs, then, a standard small search could happen like a pure coincidence before he has time to hide anything or deny.
The idea would be they would be planted on his vehicle without him even knowing.
Hmm.
So yes, I believe this can all work. Your experience in law enforcement is proving extraordinarily useful to us for committing crimes.
He's giving you a deadpan look.
Nausicaa's always a dead fun look, so it's returned.
I'm happy that you're that you're taking my expertise to commit crime.
Nausicaa just nods. How are your studies coming on?
Uh, sorry. Go on, mister.
It was directed towards Julie, correct?
It was kind of directed, I guess, towards them both. But yeah, she can direct it mainly towards Julie.
And then Julie would just look at her and just say, "It's going good. It's fine. Yeah, it's good."
Uh, for my part, I'm mainly trying to crack down my method of scrying at this point.
Interesting.
But I think that my my understanding of the time sphere has become better, better than it was before.
Excellent. This is good. I believe the principles underlined within Ars Temporis have served me well.
Hmm. Realistically, yeah, it's kind of a helper to, even if, well, one could say that fate and entropy can take many shapes and paths. It's always good to have a preview.
It is. If I have learned anything since becoming awakened, it's that we are able to focus our wells on the universe in many different ways.
Have you joined the tradition? As of this one is towards Julie, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say.
She just for a second or two she just looks as though she wants to not be there, and she just says, sure.
Okay.
Either she's unsure of exactly what the question means, she's embarrassed, or she is doing something towards it, but it comes across as not too heartfelt and not too assertive.
And nods. It's not pressed for issue because he knows that kind of talk. Well, okay. So who regarding this plan, like who's gonna supply you with cocaine?
I know some people.
Fair enough.
I used to have a certain
A crippling drug addiction.
no. I used to have a lot of drugs on hand. I don't as much anymore.
Okay. I see. Well,
That's not a problem with you being used to being, you are a cop, but that's not a problem, right?
well, I mean, what what you do with your body and your life is really up to you. I'm not a cop anymore. I can't really force you to do things. I would suggest you not to do it. You know, 'cause it's bad
So
health. But outside of that, no, I'm
yeah,
not.
you don't need to worry about that anymore. She sighs again, quite noticeably.
Nausicaa's going to have a moment of enlightenment. Yes. Julie has had enough time of me pestering and badgering her about her drug use.
Generally, in my experience, um, as you would put it, pestering tends actually to do the opposite of what you're searching to achieve in the instant
See,
drug addiction.
there's someone who's talking sense. That's good.
The evidence also points that even when you were doing drugs, you were still an incredibly productive and elite member of this chantry. So they were clearly not harming you too badly.
Thanks. That almost sounds like a compliment.
It wasn't. I was merely stating a fact.
I said nearly, but yeah, nice dodge.
Nausicaa just looks down into her food at the moment, and shovels a mouthful of greasy chow mein noodles down.
As he's looking at the food and he's thinking, oh, I'm thinking of another addiction.
Yep.
Goddamn addict.
Speaking of this, Nausicaa is going to get up and go to the fridge. And you hear a kind of sound of annoyance. We have run out of energy drinks.
Yes.
There's lots of coffee.
She scowls at Julie. I don't like coffee.
It's the preferred energy drink of, well, millions and millions of people.
Well, millions and millions of people are wrong.
I think
And
what she is trying to convey is that she is more into the sugar rush.
It's not sugar rush, it's caffeine.
Nausicaa's
Well-
going to go over. Well, sorry, continue. Nausicaa's going to go over to the wall and actually pulls out a pen and begins. Actually, pulls out her wand and begins. You can see her kind of like tracing patterns on the wall.
You are
You're gonna
you're doing.
you're gonna get some energy drinks from somewhere, aren't you?
I will pay for them tomorrow. I'm not stealing.
Oh, even better.
How?
She's gonna make a portal to somewhere where there is an energy drink, and she's gonna grab one or two, pull them in here, and then close the portal. I've seen her doing something like that before.
And then you're gonna go to the shop tomorrow and say, "Hey, I took them without paying, so here's the money."
She's going to say, "Keep the change." Would be my guess.
I will leave them a healthy tip. And as Nausicaa does this, you can see that she's basically, it looks like a combination of weird symbols, some of them that you would actually recognize. You see the tradition symbol for correspondence in there several times in variations. But aside from that, it's basically mathematical kind of like formula. And as she does it and she kind of finishes it, it basically kind of like spins and expands. And as it expands, the wall behind it kind of like falls back. And then, basically like it looks like you're looking out from the back of a fridge. And basically there's the back of a fridge of the convenience store that Nausicaa normally goes to, maybe around the corner. And Nausicaa takes like 3. Would either of you like anything?
No, I'm good.
She will take it. And
I'm good.
Theo?
I'm good. Although I'm wondering, why are you paying tomorrow when you could just, I don't know, give a check or leave money there? Like, wouldn't that
She
be?
can't wait. She
Here?
needs it now. And she's stubborn like that.
No. I mean, if you take them through a portal, why not put the money through the portal?
That would be more suspicious.
Hmm.
I will go there anyway. These will last me, and she looks at it, a little while. And with that, she will essentially take her wand and finish. She will actually go around the kind of the math that edges the portal, completing some of the formulas. And as she does that, they basically begin resolving themselves. And as they resolve themselves, they gradually like basically get smaller and smaller and smaller. All this huge equation to create a wormhole through all space time, gradually resolving itself and going back to the status quo. And basically it's smaller and smaller until it's like a simple thing, and it just basically the portal shrinks and then blinks out of existence. And Nausicaa just looks around. and goes back to her food and opens one and chugs it.
Well, bon appetit, and let me know when we're ready with the plan.
Ultimately, it's up to Grace. I'm simply helping her with it.
Fury's gonna look at the composition of that fucking energy drink.
So it's called Comrade Stalin's Seizing the Means of Energy. And it's, some like
Not
illegal Russian energy drink.
South America.
I don't know why, but all her energy drinks, I've had them be like communism based, just because I don't know, I find it funny. But yeah, it looks like absolute. It has like a pop picture of like a kind of anime style Stalin or something, and yeah, completely not very socialist.
Not her favorite. Her favorite being work harder, comrade.
Yeah, and yeah,
Her favorite is Stakhanovitz. Stakhanovitz energy drink.
I think the best she had was Atom Energy, and it was a picture of like a nuclear explosion. And I will note the paradox I just gained on my sheet.
Yeah, he just looks at it. Well, I'm almost disappointed that when you pop it, it doesn't start to sing the USSR national anthem. Slightly.
It was a while ago that was a thing, but I'll be in my room. I'll see you around, guys. And Julie just picks up her things and begins to leave.
Sure.
Do you not wish to stay, Julie?
She stops. No, I got shit to look at and things to do.
Oscar just shrugs. Well, it was pleasant talking.
Don't mention it. It was. Thanks for the talk.
And yeah, after she's gone, Oscar will turn to Theo. She is suffering, I believe, drug withdrawals. She is normally very sociable.
Well, that tends to happen when you have even the smallest addiction, like smoking, caffeine, rubbers. When your brain has to rework the chemical components, you tend to be on edge or not as pep as you used to be. But
I agree. Addiction is a terrible thing, and she takes a big gulp.
have you tried not drinking that?
Yes, I didn't like it. Why?
Nothing. I'm just feeling that you probably also felt that.
This is not a drug.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
So sorry. So Pete needs to go, so we can.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Pete.
Sorry, as they end up having a never-ending debate towards the nature of caffeine.
Yeah.
Of caffeine addiction.
Right. But with that, this scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.
Yep. Bye.